Hello, guys. How are you doing today? I am Erica Judge Edwards, the mother of Carl Emery Edwards, the creator of Carl Emery's World. And today I am going to speak a little bit about what I think about parents showing their special needs children on social media. As you guys know, I do a weekly vlog, and so this will be my topic for this week. If this is your first time tuning in, I do recommend that you go back and look at the vlog titled The Story of Carl. This is a nice introduction into her story and also a nice introduction into the role that we hope to play in the autism community through our social media sites. So today I just wanted to come on and just talk about, why we decided to develop our sites, how we feel about showing Carl on social media, and, some of the feedback that we've gotten and what we think about this feedback. So we have absolutely no reservations about our social media sites because we think that we conduct these responsibly. Carl is always shown in a positive light. She's always shown in a way that is appropriate. There's nothing, abusive or malicious about, the way that we show her. We're not exploiting her in any way. And we feel like our sites are tastefully done. We're at the present time, we're not selling anything. Our pages aren't monetized. There's absolutely no financial gain whatsoever. So we are 100% not exploiting her in any way. So, I have heard individuals say that when special needs moms create sites and become content creators and show their children, that they are potentially exploiting them. One of the things that I would like to say is that, the cost of raising any child, can be expensive. That cost can be magnified if that child has special needs or needs, certain things. A lot of times when a child has special needs, one or both parents might not be able to work just due to having to take care of the child or, take the child to various therapies or, make sure that the child has everything that they need. If that is the case, then that parent might have to come up with, creative ways in order to, have an income. And so when we support special needs parents by, purchasing their books, purchasing their crafts, sending donations or whatever the case may be, majority of the time, except in cases where there's neglect and abuse, we are supporting that child as well. So one of the things that we should consider is that parent might have had to leave the workforce. And so now they might be, pivoting and using the talents and gifts that they have in order to have an income. And, if we're just being honest, you can monetize social media sites and you can, gain an income from social media sites. And so I actually think that, it's a great idea if it gives that parent the opportunity to support their child. Now, my family, we currently are a household in which we work. And so, I actually work full time. And so we haven't had to monetize any sites or anything like that. But if there was a situation where, I did have to leave the workforce or we did, need more flexibility and my job wasn't, accommodating and I did have to, become an entrepreneur or, come up with a creative way to make money, I would 100% do that without a second thought in order to take care of and provide Carl with her needs. So the one thing that I would say is, let's not always assume, that a person's motives are not pure, or that, they're doing something sinister. And the other thing is that this might really be, that individual's passion. So I guess my answer is that I really don't have a problem with, special needs parents creating content which features their children, as long as, there's no signs of abuse, no signs of neglect. And as long as, the child is portrayed in a way that is respectful, and, the child isn't under any duress, it's not something that is stressful for the child, or, impacting their care or daily life. As long as, it's done in the proper way, I actually think that, it's okay. When it comes to our sites, our sites do feature Carl. We're very specific in the way that we do it. If we're going to record something, a lot of times the camera will be far away. So we do have a vlogging kit. We do have the camera with the light. And so we will sit the tripod way back in the corner, and we'll just have it on, and we'll be doing the activity with Carl. And she might not even notice that it's there. She doesn't even really, know that something's recording her. So it's always from a distance, and, there's not going to be a lot of light in her eyes. There's not going to be a lot of, sound and stimuli. We definitely do everything with her comfort in mind. Sometimes you will see close-ups of her, but a lot of times those are just, clips of things we're doing together, not necessarily meant to be content. So, we are very hands-on with Carl. We're playing on the floor with her all the time. We're taking her to activities all the time. We're doing various things with her all the time. We've always been this way. These are things that we've always done. And of course, most people I know, they take video clips of their child. They take photos of their child when they're doing various activities. And so, we've always done those things as well. And so if we have those clips, sometimes we can, put them together in a way to create a reel, or, we can use them as an example of something that we're trying to share with people. But as far as a camera just being in her face all day, every day, it's just recording every little thing that she does, we 100% do not do that. You guys actually only see a small slither of her life. You don't see, majority of it, because like I said, we do things with her all the time, and we are actually very intentional. So I will take my phone, I will put it on silent, and I'll flip it over and, sit it to the side if I'm doing an activity with her, so that I can be 100% involved in what she and I are working on. Because by, being hands-on with her and, working with her, we've been able to get great success. And one of the things that we don't want to do, we don't want it to become, a point, we don't want it to come to a point where, we're staging things, or we're doing things specifically to create content, or, the camera's always around, because that is something that can interfere with her progress. And, while we do want to share our story, we do want to give hope. We do want there to be visibility so that people can reach out to us if they're, trying to figure out how to act in the best needs of their child. We would never do that at the expense of Carl. And so, one of the other things that people have asked me is, well, what about bullying? Do you think that, putting her on social media will, make her more susceptible to bullying when she goes to school? Well, the thing I would say about that is this. If you want to, positively impact the life of a special needs child by reducing bullying, you don't need to talk to the special needs parents. You need to talk to the bullies. Special needs children are not bullied because of the fact that, their parents have, pages where they show content and things like that. A lot of times the bullying comes from, a lack of understanding. The bullying can come from, stigma associated with, whatever their diagnosis might be. The bullying can come from the fact that they're different and other children are picking up on the fact that they're different, and they might not have been, taught to respect differences, or they might not have been exposed to differences in the past, or, maybe they're not from a diverse population. So the way we stop bullying is through education. And I actually believe that us showing our children, and giving everybody an idea of, what their day to day is like, how hard they work to accomplish things, their happiness, their triumphs, and, the good times, hard times. I actually think that that leads to understanding, which would ultimately decrease the amount of bullying. And, the other thought I have is this. Parents with neurotypical children, they show video of their children all the time. They show photos of their children all the time. There are a lot of pages out there, of children who are neurotypical. So if you're asking me, am I afraid of my daughter getting bullied? But you're not asking those people, the same thing. My question would be, is there some sort of a subconscious bias there that you have? Because it's almost as if you're saying that there is something about my child that is, visible that would cause people, to bully her. And so, in my opinion, it's really no different than any other person, showing their child on social media, as long as it's not being done in a manner that is meant to exploit the child. So, when it comes to statistics do show that children who are autistic are more likely to be bullied, but that's at no fault of their own, and it's not, the fault of the parents. They would be bullied whether their parents had a social media site or not, because the bullying has been taking place prior to the invention of social media. So I want to be clear when I say that I do not think that parents being content creators are the issue that contributes to bullying at all. I think it's the stigma. I think it's the lack of understanding. And honestly, a lot of times it's the parents, because, I'm active on social media. And so I see a lot of the things that adults say when it comes to autistic children, or, children with other special needs. I see adults, say that they don't necessarily think that autistic children should be in general ed classes, that they think that, autistic children should be separated. I see where, there's a lot of concern for, their child being physically harmed or attacked. And of course, that's a valid concern. But I think that a lot of times that comes from a lack of understanding, not recognizing what autism spectrum is, not recognizing that, there will be various services in place. There can be one-on-one aids in place. And also, not recognizing that just because a person is autistic, it doesn't mean that they're violent. It doesn't mean that they have a behavioral issue. It doesn't mean that they have intellectual disability. And so I think that by various parents having, social media pages, I think that it will actually help, because our children might have different needs, different diagnoses, be at different points of the spectrum. And so you would get a wider view, or a more accurate view, because you can't form an opinion based on one child. So no, I don't think that, Carl would be bullied as a result of our pages. If Carl were to be bullied, I think that she would be bullied as a result of ignorance. And I think that it would happen, whether we had social media pages or not. Now, my husband and I, we made the decision that, for our page, we are really advocating for early diagnosis, early intervention. We have a specific role. The specific role is to give people hope. And so we talk a lot about where Carl was prior to therapy, and we talk a lot about, where Carl is now. And the point is for people to see the progress, and honestly, to follow her as she continues to progress and as she continues, to do well in life. So with that being said, we show very specific things. We show her, traveling. We'll show like her first boat ride, her first, plane ride. We'll show her at, varying festivals and outings and eateries. We'll show her doing educational activities. We'll show, the different methods that we put in place in order to ensure her comfort and ensure her success. We'll talk a lot about her therapy. Our role is to talk about how early intervention has positively impacted our life, with the goal of increasing parents who are seeking early diagnosis and early intervention. The other thing that we do, we do get a lot of inboxes from parents who are concerned about their children and they don't really know how to navigate the healthcare system. So we do a lot of, helping with that, like telling them, okay, speak to your pediatrician, ask for, this type of referral, see if services can be put in place immediately prior to an official diagnosis. So we really do a lot of, parent coaching. And of course, we have the role of giving back to the community. So, we're going to adopt a family for Thanksgiving. We're going to adopt a family for Christmas. We're doing a coat giveaway. And so there are things, that we really want to do, to just be a positive force in this community. With that being said, showing Carl when she's having a hard time, or showing her when she's not, feeling well, or, showing her if, she happened to be in distress or happened to be, having a tantrum or something of that nature. That is not something that is necessary for us to achieve the specific goal that we have. So we will not be doing that. And I want to be clear. I use the word tantrum and not the word meltdown because Carl doesn't have meltdowns. Right now, the only thing she has is age-appropriate tantrums, and there is a clear difference. So I just want to be respectful to the community and let everybody know that I did not use the word tantrum to mean meltdown. I used the word tantrum to mean tantrum, and it was intentional. And the other thing I want to say is that when I use the term special needs, it is not meant to be offensive at all. It is simply meant to be children who, need specific therapies and, who need specific things for their comfort and in order to ensure their success. I respect everybody. I don't want to use, any derogatory terms. And so I wanted to make sure that I clarify that I specifically mean, children who might, have needs that are not, typical if, they didn't, if they weren't autistic. And I also want to say, that tantrums simply means tantrums. I'm a very problematic person, non-confrontational person. And I just want to, make sure that my page is positive. If I ever misspeak or you feel like I've, misspoken, you can definitely, inbox me. You can definitely, attempt to educate me. I'm very open to it, as long as it's done in a respectful way, as long as it comes from, a good place. But, I want everybody to respect my mind as well. This community isn't a monolith. So things that are offensive to others might not be offensive to me. Things that are offensive to me might not be offensive to others. And so, of course, we can't push our individual beliefs on one another, but we have to respect each other. And so the reason I'm saying that is just because, I am, doing my vlog, and I've seen a lot of things in terms of, people not agreeing about, certain signs to represent the community, certain symbols to represent the community, certain, words and things like that. But it is a diverse community. And so because everybody doesn't think the same way, the only thing that people will really be able to do is, operate in a way that is pleasing to themselves, but avoid doing anything, blatantly disrespectful and, egregious and things like that. And so, our vlog is fairly new. Our site is fairly new. Our daughter was diagnosed, with autism within the last 6-7 months. And so, we're still watching, we're still learning. So that's why majority of the things that we do and say, we don't claim to speak for the community. We only claim to speak specifically for our family, but we want to be respectful at the same time. So just wanted to let everyone know that, anything that I say, within my vlogs, definitely not meant to be offensive. And I'm 100% open to conversations. And so I just wanted to stop and say that. And so now, I will go ahead and continue on, talking about the various things that I want to talk about this week. So, Carl is a very happy, well-adjusted child, and we want her to stay that way. And so, I just want everybody to know that we do have her best intentions in mind, and our hearts are pure. Our role is pure. There are no, outside motives. The main goal really is to spread awareness and to be visible, and also to be a resource. And, we really just want to be supportive of everybody. We just want to share our story, and that's the main point. And so right now it is having no negative impact on Carl whatsoever. She honestly loves the camera. She'll walk up to a camera, she'll say cheese, she'll pose, she'll smile. She loves to take pictures. And even when we shoot the videos, when she goes back and watches the videos, she's smiling. She loves to look at herself. So she's actually really aware of the process. Now, do I think that our social media sites, do I think they're counterproductive, or do I think that they take time away from her? I absolutely do not. When I shoot the vlog, Carl is either in school or she's napping. So right now, she's actually taking a nap, and I will 100% be done with this before she awakens because I timed it. Now, we don't do a lot of editing. We don't do any, staging. There aren't going to be any special effects or anything like that. There's not makeup. There's not fancy clothes. There's not like a fancy, house, or, setting the house up in a certain way so that you guys will see fancy things. We don't do any of those things because honestly, those things take time that we don't have. And the other thing is that, is not authentic. And so to put something out there that's not authentic really isn't going to be helpful. I am a, regular special needs mom, just like all of the other special needs moms out there. And that's really, what I want everyone to see. And so, I'm shooting the vlog right now while she's taking a nap. When it comes to posting things, a lot of times, whatever I'm going to post, I will compose it at night after Carl has gone to bed. And then when I get up in the morning, I will quickly post whatever I've already composed, that morning, or on my lunch break, I can quickly go and post whatever, I've already composed. And so majority of the legwork is going to be when she's taking a nap or at night when she's gone to sleep. Not necessarily in the morning before she gets, she awakens, because she's typically going to be the first person that awakens. Now, if Carl gets to an age and she says, I don't want to be on camera anymore, she 100% will not be on camera anymore. If she says everything you put out there, I want you to delete it, I will 100% delete it. Now, mind you, I know that once you put something out there, it's out there. But remember what I said initially. We make sure to always show her in a positive light, or, our opinion of what a positive light is. And we recognize that, in life, things aren't always positive. There are good times, there are bad times. And honestly, it's necessary for people to see a full view of what autism is if they're going to understand it, and if the stigma is truly going to be reduced. I can sit here and say, well, I would never show Carl having a meltdown. Well, honestly, it really doesn't make sense for me to say that, because as I previously stated, she doesn't have meltdowns. So how can I say what I would or wouldn't do when that doesn't even, really apply to her? And you never know, if she did have meltdowns, I might feel like, well, you know what? I think that I really need to show people what a meltdown looks like, because I think it's important for them to know in case they encounter one, of someone who's out in public, so that they can help, or so that they can contact the proper people, or, so that they can be understanding. And I do think that visibility is necessary for, understanding. I actually really, really do. It's just for our family, we have only, decided to show, certain things. And I want to say that, when I use the term, show Carl in a positive light, what I mean is, positive intent, positive outcome. For example, I've showed videos, of Carl's motor delay. Like in one of the videos, you can obviously see that she hasn't mastered using the spoon. You can see that there's some, fine motor, deficits there. In some of the videos, you can see that, there's some gross motor deficits there. And I've posted videos of her stimming. I've posted videos of her, demonstrating echolalia, and so some people might see those as negative things. Well, I don't see those as negative things. I see those as a part of who she is. And so, I'm not saying that I'm not showing the completeness of what's going on with her, or that I'm sugarcoating things, or, that I'm, staging things, in a way to where, I'm trying to mask what's going on with her, because that is 100% not the case. What I'm simply saying is that I'm sure to show her in a way, that I feel is becoming of her, and, that I feel I'm showing her in a positive light, or I'm showing her in a way that we all can be proud of, because, that's going to be my number one priority. So just to recap things, I want to say that I have no reservations about our page. I think it's tastefully done. I don't think that we're exploiting Carl at all. Carl is a beautiful, intelligent, lovely, happy little girl, and she brings so much light into our lives. And we honestly just want everybody else to experience that light as well. She is truly just a joy. To me, she's just the cutest. A lot of people are drawn to her, and so we just want to show that. We just want to show all of the goodness that she is. And we know that Carl has a lot of things to offer this world, and so we just want to assist her with doing that. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you can definitely reach out to me. YouTube, Carl, C-A-R-L-E, Emery's, E-M-E-R-Y' World. Facebook, same thing, Carl, C-A-R-L-E, Emery's, E-M-E-R-Y' World. Instagram, Carl, C-A-R-L-E _ Emery, E-M-E-R-Y, and then TikTok, Carl Emery, Caremery. Message me. I'm very responsive. I definitely want to connect with the community. I definitely want to dialogue. Like I said, we're fairly new, to the various forums, and our daughter was newly diagnosed. And so, we're definitely still learning, and we want to connect with others, learn from others. We're open and willing to communicate. So definitely reach out. And if there's anything that you guys want me to touch on or want me to talk about, or if you have any questions, please reach out to us. I'm 100% happy to talk to anybody or do whatever topics you guys want to see. Have a nice day. Thank you.